what that means is that Twitch, as a platform, chooses for whatever reason to support this kind of behavior by not banning it, okay? Whew, and that is a spicy meatball, isn't it? Because what that means is that there are no real individual teams that are complicit at Twitch. It's actually the entire organization, and that's what we should be addressing. The Alinity drama. What's going on? Okay. FaZe Clan calls Alinity a bad word amid cat throwing drama. Female streamer slashed out at Twitch's alleged bias over Alinity controversy. Petition to ban Alinity from Twitch takes off following cat abuse controversy. So Alinity throws a cat over her head, and then in previous articles or situations, she feeds a cat alcohol, and then there was one where she like put a sticker on the cat and that sort of stuff. Look, okay. This whole situation that has come on across this, I'm going to take a position on this, all right? Every single time that Alinity doesn't get banned for something, or someone gets banned for something, or someone doesn't get banned for something, here's what I see. I see a top upvoted thread on Livestream Fail that says, Alinity is not getting banned, but people have been harassing her. Maybe. Elmao, this can't be real. She's definitely either screwing someone higher up or has dirt on them. Maybe she won't have to screw any of them. They hired a metric ton of male staff that just sit in girls' chats. Wish I was making this up. The most true statement in this whole thread, okay? Hundreds and hundreds of upvotes, thousands of upvotes, etc., okay? The Alinity ban situation, where you will find that the majority of the community feels that Twitch is treating this situation unfairly, that Twitch is playing enormous favorites with Alinity, and yada, 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 okay? So this every single time that something like this comes up, where someone gets banned or doesn't get banned, there's this talk and there's this belief system that Twitch is playing these massive favorites, and this entire philosophy comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of how Twitch works. Okay, and as a result of Twitch and their inability to communicate. So what I am going to present to you today is the following statement. Ready? Here it goes. Alinity doesn't have any favoritism with Twitch. The actual truth of the matter is far worse, okay? And we're going to get into why and what's happening there. As for the actual opinion on Alinity and if she should be banned on the platform, the answer is, for me personally, okay, like if you gave me her case and you said, look, like what would you do? I would absolutely ban Alinity, okay? Like there's undoubtedly that they would not be on the platform. Now, do I think that matters what I think or whatever? No, it doesn't matter what I think. But I would 100% ban Alinity. like there's absolutely no question that I would ban her. Okay. Now that said, let's go into how Twitch works, okay? Twitch is a company. Wow, it's a corporation, actually. Actually, owned by Amazon. There's about 1,500 people that work at Twitch-ish. Maybe more or less, I don't know. Last time I checked, okay? About 300 to 400 of those people are on the partnerships team. Most are engineers. They work on the CDN system, content delivery network. They work on Twitch as a whole, right? And just various aspects of it, okay? So a partnerships team is led by one manager and usually 2 to 4 other individuals. Okay, which is led by VPs at Twitch, and then VPs at Amazon. Okay, in that department. Okay, so there is that manager. Okay, usually has accounts, and that manager will have the account of an individual streamer. And so that team and that manager will meet together to make a judgment call on a ban. One of the reasons why the Twitch has been criticized in the past to be very subjective in the way that they ban is because all of these issues are going to separate teams with separate managers. So there's not like one person with a gavel that's like guilty, right? That's judging everything on Twitch. It goes to separate teams, and separate teams have a general guideline of how they should respond to bans and how they should respond to things in terms of enforcement. But they don't have it's not like a strict thing. Okay, it's a very subjective way they do this. They kind of make these like subjective determinations based on a set of general guidelines. So, for Alinity to have some kind of favoritism in Twitch, every single time one of these issues went to a partnerships team manager and their team, she would have had to buy off every individual team that evaluated her issues over the years. All the individuals on that team and the manager. Okay, but in an issue like this, where you have Ricky, it gets even worse, where you have Ricky Gervais tweeting about it, and you have like PETA tweeting about it, stuff like that. This is absolutely escalated beyond a manager level. It's escalated to probably a VP level. Like the VP of partnerships has most likely weighed in on this decision to whether they should be banned or not banned. So this, like, let's dispel this idea of favoritism right now, okay? Because companies just don't work this way. If there were one person at Twitch who was making decisions on all bans, then yes, okay? Or if you just assigned one person per account and that was the person that did it, then sure. But that is not how it works at Twitch, okay? The idea, the bans decisions go to individuals every single time. So it was a separate individual that handled Alinity feeding alcohol to her cat. It was a separate individual handling this situation, and not just an individual, it was a team that were making that decision. And then that team, okay, is vetted by the VPs at Twitch, which, by the way, every action you do at Twitch is logged by Amazon and vetted by Amazon and the VPs there. Amazon itself, I can almost guarantee you, did not get involved in the situation, but they are aware of it, okay? So let's dispel this idea of favoritism right now. It's not true. It's just not true. Just objectively not true. Factually not true. Every single time that I see one of these posts or whatever, I get very annoyed by this, okay? The actual reality of it is scarier, because if that's not true, what that means is that Twitch, as a platform, chooses for whatever reason to support this kind of behavior by not banning it, okay? Whew, and that is a spicy meatball, isn't it? Because what that means is that there are no real individual teams that are complicit at Twitch. It's actually the entire organization, and that's what we should be addressing. Now, in Twitch's defense, enforcement is very difficult on social platforms, and nobody is doing it well. I don't think anybody has an idea of how to do it well. A lot of people that are asking for greater enforcement over issues like this do not know or do not realize what they're asking for. If you take the situation on YouTube, YouTube has what amounts to a rogue AI that is going around slaying people as it automatically determines that your content is good or bad. I promise you don't want a system that is automatically run versus human run. Whereas on Twitch, if you're banned on Twitch, every single ban on Twitch, no matter how small, is a human decision. Now, that's not necessarily scalable, okay? But it is the case. On YouTube, you can get banned, and just the rogue AI is just like, guilty, and then you're just done. And you have no idea what happened, and you have no recourse either. You can't like go to someone, or unless you're really well connected, and be like, hey, like this happened. So if the argument, what I would present in front of anybody that is trying to say, okay, Twitch is very subjective in the way that they handle these bans, I would love for you to suggest a better system, okay? Because when you're dealing with these problems at scale, a situation where with Alinity tossing her cat over her head and Pokey tossing her cat over her head is actually two totally separate situations. It's the same violation, but the accounts are in different standing. The history of violations is different. And the relationship on Twitch is different. So every single situation about a ban on Twitch has to be considered by a team of humans. Eventually, that cannot be the case. If we are expected to grow as a platform, we are not going to be able to do that. We simply just have to introduce some kind of ML or algorithmic enforcement. Because if we don't do that, then it's going to be unsustainable as a platform. We already saw that with the artifact drama, right? The whole reason that that happened was because somebody figured out how to create streams that consistently violated terms of service automatically on Artifact. So what ended up happening was Twitch was human banning those streams, but every time they did, like another 3 came up, and Twitch had to close down the entire platform to fix this problem until they figured out how to do that. And eventually, the way that they figured out how to do it was just to enable 2-factor. So they made it harder to create accounts, because what ended up happening was on Artifact, a person was creating infinite amounts of accounts, and they were infinitely banning with humans there, banning it in real time, but they couldn't keep up because the robot was just creating new accounts. So Twitch had to close down the entire platform for a day, making new accounts in order to fix that problem. That's how the level of human involvement that we have in Twitch enforcement right now. There is no better system than the one that we have right now for enforcing Twitch bans and enforcement. It's just the way that it is. There are plenty of bans that you may disagree with, but, and very importantly, we do not have the context into these situations, okay? Because the other issue that I have with Reddit and with a lot of people that are arguing about the situation is this idea of a kangaroo court, okay? As defined by that we ought give the ability to Reddit or to the public to understand the nuances of these situations. Because right now, we don't really know what happened with Alinity, right? Or the situation behind that. There's no transparency from Twitch in that way. Twitch is not required to offer transparency to us, the public, about issues like this. They do offer that transparency to the individual partner. They then give it to the partner to choose what to do with it. So Alinity has been contacted by Twitch. Let's start there. May have been a warning. It might be, don't ever do this again, or you'll be permanently banned from our platform. It might be, hey, that wasn't very cool, don't do that again. We don't know. Alinity has chosen to show the details that that she has with us, and that detail is this Discord message, which got everybody even more angry. If there's anything that Alinity does incredibly well, it's stir up an unbelievable amount of, I guess, just sheer marketing ability. That she's able to consistently get in front of people with 8K upvoted threads, when far more important matters, like one of the most influential people in StarCraft 2 passed away literally 12 hours ago, but hey, let's focus on this person that's chucking, this obviously pretty terrible person that's chucking cats over chairs, okay? None of you want the court of public opinion, no sane individual wants the court of public opinion to rule out here. You don't want LSF or Reddit judging if we should ban people or not, okay? I don't think anybody sane would make that argument. So this idea of having all of the details of someone's ban be released publicly and then to be combed through and analyzed by Reddit is a dumb idea. In the same way that it's a dumb idea that Twitch plays favorites, okay? So let's also dispel with that as well, where this idea of like, okay, these should be public cases. It's up to the streamer whether they want to share the details of their ban or not, or their warnings or whatever. Twitch allows that decision to be on the side of the content creator. It's great. If Twitch was posting big public exposés on people and their entire account history, that would really suck for us. And it would not create the air of accountability that you think it would. It would just create a lot of divisiveness in terms of people who think things should be a certain way and should be a certain different way. Okay, so the Alinity situation, as it stands right now, the only way that we should criticize is, if there is anything to be criticized, is Twitch's sort of weird hands-off, hands-on approach to banning people, where in some situations, it feels like someone will just slap a ban like instantaneously, like Newt getting banned for driving. That in another situation, it's like Dr. Disrespect gets banned for 14 days for doing something highly illegal. I mean, that's where we criticize Twitch, okay? We attack like the idea of the company, but the problem is I can't think of a better system of enforcement rather than what we have now. I just can't. If you set these some people are going to say, well, you should set firm rules. Like if someone walks into a bathroom, they should be banned for 30 days or 60 days. The problem is you can't do that either because there are different subjective situations as to why to walk into a bathroom. There are all kinds of different reasons that might have happened. What if somebody is live streaming and then someone screams for help and they run into a bathroom and they like save somebody, right? Like there's so many situations where you have to have a human being like sit there and be like, okay, what was the context of this situation and what happened? What was the intent? All that decision making has to happen. So it's very hard to set a group of broad general guidelines. This is why Twitter and Facebook and Instagram have failed at this as well. That is not an answer. So I don't have an idea for a better system than this. Would I like to see Alinity banned? Yes. I think that Alinity is a pretty awful person. More importantly, and I've spoken to this before, the most important issue to me personally is I do not want to be the website where I'm at a party and I talk to someone about what I do and they say, hey, so what is your job? And I say, oh, I'm a broadcaster. I work with Twitch. And they go, that website where people throw cats? And I'm going to be like, So like that all speaks to one of the most important issues that I talk about, which is brand voice and brand opinion. When we walk into bathrooms or we chuck cats over our shoulder or we feed cats alcohol or we do anything like that, we are basically telling brands that we are not advertisable. Don't trust us because as a website, we don't know what we're doing. We're a bunch of like kids that are just and we don't appeal to a more mature demographic of people. And certainly not to mass market, right? We're still in that 7 to 12% early adopter phase. We're not ready for mass market. That's the message we're sending when we do stuff like this. YouTube fixed this problem by creating partner tiers. YouTube created tiers where it said, okay, we have a tier of premium partners who do content that is brand and advertiser friendly. You can advertise with these people. Your ads will never be shown on places where these other inventories exist or should never be shown. And when they do get shown, it's stuff like the adpocalypse that happens is really a big deal. So you don't want ads to be shown on those channels. You want to flag channels appropriately. Twitch has to do something similar. They have to set up something where they have tiers of partners where there is a premium tier of partners. And it's going to be a tier of partners who do content that is acceptable, and then they're going to throw people like Alinity into the dark dimension tier where you only get advertisements from people that are going to pay low CPMs and are appropriate for people that are making that kind of content. This is going to tick a lot of partners off. It's going to make a lot of people very angry because they're going to be like, well, why am I not in that tier? In the same way that it does on YouTube, but I don't have a better solution. Either that or we never have our fill rates and we never have any good advertisement on Twitch. And the result of that is that the platform eventually becomes unsustainable because nobody will advertise there. So there is no way that we don't have a system that comes up eventually that is going to tier out partners, especially in an ecosystem where we don't ban for things like this. Okay, so that said, TLDR, number one, stop saying that Twitch plays favorites. They don't. It just is not a thing that happens. We explain the way that the system works. And it's like like focus on the reality that is far worse. The ecosystem of Twitch itself as a platform needs to somehow overhaul its enforcement policies. And the problems that we have in enforcement on Twitch are very difficult to solve. So as a community, we should be trying to figure out how to better that system. And we should be in that conversation with Twitch because this whole narrative of Twitch is run by SJWs that have that are just plain favorites is not helping anybody. It's not helping the conversation. It's not helping Twitch make better decisions. It's not helping. It's bringing more attention to to awful people who should not have that attention. And that's where I want to leave it. I want to encourage people to think about intelligent ways that we can fix enforcement on a macroscopic level and have those conversations with Twitch. And that's when they'll listen. Because these suggestions of bringing it out into public opinion or playing favorites or whatever are just not going to get Twitch on our side. And because we are basically stuck with this platform, because I know you all aren't moving over to Mixer or Facebook Gaming anytime soon, okay? We should try to operate in good faith to make it a good place to be. The best place to be. Okay? Thanks. All right. If you like this kind of stuff, toss me a follow on my stream. Hit the like button on YouTube. Subscribe. I do this stuff pretty much every day and try to discuss really important issues like this, industry-changing issues, which this definitely